Alright, hi everyone. So, in this video series, I'm going to be teaching you all how to solve the 5x5 Mastermorphix. And basically, this is very similar to the scaling up of a 3x3 to a 5x5, except from a 3x3 Mastermorphix to a 5x5 Mastermorphix. And so you can see that if you've looked at my 3x3 Mastermorphix tutorials, which I recommend you go to if you haven't solved a 3x3 one before, because we will be using the reduction method in the end to get it in the final solved state. And so you can see here that this is what we constitute as a face on the Mastermorphix. So for clarity here, we have a 3x3 for the center, just as the 5x5 does. And then we have a 3-piece curved edge here. And then we have 4 of those, 1, 2, 3, 4 in each face. And then we have the 2 tricolor corners. And then we have 2 unicolor corners, which is the biggest difference, I think, between a face on the Mastermorphix and a face on a regular cubic Rubik's Cube. And so, once you have that down, you can see that even though there are only 4 colors on the Mastermorphix, there are in actuality 6 faces, just like we are very accustomed to on the regular Rubik's Cubes. And so, without further ado, that is the very basics of what you need to know, and by now you should already be quite familiar with how this corresponds to a regular Rubik's Cube. And so, let's begin. So the first step to solving a 5x5, any shape, is to of course solve the centers, all 6 of them, and then you would solve the edges, put the 3 pieces together and to create that, and then finally use the reduction method to put all of the edge pieces and the center pieces and the corner pieces together in the final solve format. And so let's mess things up here. So, first thing of note here is we should find a face to start off in, and I usually like to leave yellow blue for last, and so we're going to come here as our base. And so red green, so luckily for us, because I didn't mess this up very properly, we already have a row completed here. See, the red matches to the red and the green matches to the green in the right curvature, and since it's an odd number 5x5 Rubik's Cube, that means the centerpiece will never move, and so we don't have to memorize anything in terms of orientation. So we know that this is already complete, and so we're just going to mess around with the Rubik's Cube and see what we can do to get the other 6 pieces where they should be. And so first off, let's find another one that has the bicolor red-green. There's one right here, and so you can see if I directly pull this up, these won't match up at all, the reds. And so let's manipulate that a bit, and you can see now if we do it up, put it up, the curvature matches up and the red goes on the top left side and the green is the bottom right side. Alright, let's find a third one. That looks to be right here, and so turn this out of the way and then turn it up here, and so now you can see it looks like that. And then if you do this, the red, when it comes up, it'll match to the top left, the top right here. Alright, so all 3 of those pieces are matched up now. Well, in the process, I just messed up one of the reds, but I don't really care about that right now because these are the irreplaceable pieces that we have here. The other ones that are like purely green or purely red, they can be interchanged with around the faces that include those unique color sections. And so let's go find some green. So this one is a corner piece, which would belong right about here. And so in order to get this piece up to here, if you do this, you can see that the curvature will match up. But of course that'll turn away this piece that was right there. And so what we can do is turn it out of the way first, and then come down, and then do that. So now we have a row complete here. And then let's find the other green. This one looks about right. So if we do this and we can make it come up and test it, alright, so that's not the right curvature, because these two are not interchangeable, because this one you can see like the left side is the higher side while this side is the lower side. Well, this side, the left side is the lower side and the right side is the higher side. And so these are not interchangeable pieces in terms of the curvature. And so we're going to have to find another green that fits there. Okay. This one looks like it'll fit, right? And the curvature here matches up. And so same thing, if we turn it up, that will leave. So we turn it out of the way at the bottom first. Turn this middle face down. Match the curvature up here and bring it back up. We can see that half of our center face is already complete. And so now let's find the other three red pieces. So, see if this piece looks right. Turn it up here. That's not. And so if it doesn't fit there, then that means if we turn it over here and we look at it from this angle, that'll match up correctly. So, same thing, turn it out of the way and then come back here. That works. And so now final red piece here. If you turn that up, you can see the curvature matches up here. And then turn it out of the way. And there we are. The first center face is complete. And so now we move on to another random adjacent face, let's say blue-green. And so blue-green here, you can see that it doesn't really matter the relative orientations of the centers right now, and so I'm just going to solve everything in terms of how the centerpiece looks here. And then everything else will come later. So you can see there's a blue-green that's misoriented here. So let's bring it down out of the way first. And then, so you can just easily change this. And then now the green's upper left, and this is upper left. And so when you turn it up, that'll work. And then there's another blue-green here. And so if we turn it here, okay, yeah. So if we turn this here, then it needs it in the upper left corner, and then when we turn it up here, that works. However, we have this face to worry about now. So it won't be as easy to just go up here directly and then do it. So what we have to do is, instead of directly trying to just match up the diagonals first, we're going to have to leave an edge out so that we can manipulate things into where we want them to go while having an extra space to go back on. So then we complete another row up here, and you don't have to worry about anything because this is in this plane and not disturbing that. And so now you have two complete rows. And then let's just complete the third row and then see what we can do from there. So obviously this is the third row, and we just need another green here, corner piece. And so if we turn this up, we can see that that works. Yeah, let's bring this up first then. So it doesn't matter that it's out of place right now because we're going to be reorienting it later. And so here we can complete this edge by doing that, and then since we just messed that up, bring it back down here. And so now, this is actually a good thing that we misplaced it first, because now what I can do is bring this up, and you can see that this is the correct orientation. And then we turn it 180 degrees, and which we have to in order to get this back in position. But now that we've done that, it automatically brings this row back into position as well. And so now we have two centers that are complete. And let's move on to the third. These get progressively harder because you have to worry about a lot more different angles every time. And so, red, yellow. No. See, you always have to look at the center. I just made a mistake there. So red, blue. So what we're solving now is going to be red, blue face. And, alright. So one of the red, blue corners are here, and you can see this row is already complete. And so I'm not going to do anything with that. I'm just going to try to complete the center here. And I turn it up here. That blue will match up. And so then I can do this, turn it out of the way, and come back down. And so this is not messed up. So I've partly this completed. And then we look for a red on this side. And this matches up. And so now we can do this and put it back. So this stays there. So let's just complete this side then for the reds. And in order to do that, here is how. So here we have that, and then let's get another corner red piece. Alright. So now we have our correct orientation. And so now we can pull this up and then come this way and then pull it down. So now we have 3 complete centers. Alright. So now it's getting a bit more tight in here. And so in order to do this, you can see that all the color choices are starting to get diminished. And so it's a good thing and also a bad thing, because now you don't have as much room to maneuver, but it's also easier to find things. And so just by that, I got 1 row complete. I moved 2 pieces down, which matched the curvature already, and then I moved it out of the way and moved it back up, and so nothing's disturbed. I'm going to need this matched up with 2 reds. So let's give it some space to do that. There. Alright. I can move all 3 of these, all 2 of these down first. And then so that was the corner piece I didn't, edge center that I didn't need. So now we can match this up here to these 2, and then this corner here, and so we can do this, put it out to the side, and then turn it back. And then this yellow is not what we want here, so let's turn this up so that the curvature here is right, and do that. And so now we have another 3 rows. Let's set this up incorrectly to begin with. So like so. Alright, let's turn it back because I forgot to bring this back up. Alright, so now I can actually bring it up here. Alright, and so just remember every few steps to just check your work, because this is very easy to get lost with. And so the final two faces, that's when things get interesting, because you really have no space at all to manipulate and place things. And so you want to get as close as possible to what you want, and then what you would have to do is utilize a few algorithms to rotate and switch around 3 edge pieces at a time. And so we're going to have to solve the crosses first, though, on each of these. So now let's find, so here are the greens that we need. So in terms of curvature, this is where these greens should go. And then just turn this back here. I mean, that's all really there is to it. And then let's find another green here. And then here we can bring this down. And so now we are only missing this yellow. And if we bring that up, then we would have to have something to back it up with. So if we bring actually what we can do here is set up this incorrectly, and so both of these are not matched to the curvature, as you can see here. And then now what we can do is bring up the correct piece that goes here, which is this one. So this is the right curvature, and so this wrong curvature actually belongs here. And so whenever you turn this to get access to this point, and you have to turn this back, you're actually getting it into the right position. So it's the same concept as what we used when we got the rows together, by first putting the wrong row in the wrong position at first, and then we can finish the two in one go. And so first of all, since the yellows are interchangeable here, I'm going to just place a blue up here and then go from there. Because now with the blue here, I can bring this down and then bring up a yellow. And so with the curvature messed up here again, and the curvature messed up here, now we have the same opportunity that we had before, and the blues are matched up already. And so here, we change it to here, and then when we come back, it's like that. And then this is still messed up, and so easily enough, we can just reverse everything. Bring up the correct one here, bring down that. Alright, and so now the curvature is matched up here and the curvature is matched up there. And so we just swapped around the little center edge pieces. So now comes the corners. Let's displace the yellow here and then put it back here, and then I can get the green to come down here. Oh, nice. And so then, with these rows complete, I have a 3x3 here, and then the yellows here I can take care of by going further, like this, then coming down, doing that. Alright. So for the price of that one row, we get the crosses again and much less steps to go in rotating these things. And so the formula here would be counterclockwise cycle between between the lower right corner of the top face and the lower right and the lower left corners of the front face, rotating counterclockwise. And so in order to do that, you would have R, small r, so the inner right layer, U, L, so the inner L layer, U prime, L prime, and then U prime, R prime, U, L, and then finally U prime. And so now you can see that counterclockwise turn got the yellow-green to come up here, and then finally here, this, and these two are the final center corner pieces that we need to establish. And then just doing one counterclockwise cycle here will do the trick. And so, same thing. Alright, beautiful. And so now you have all 6 center faces complete. And that is our first tutorial. See you next time.